Awesome. So thank you all for being here today. A little bit about what we're going to cover is we're going to go over the UC Transfer Prep initiatives and the California Community College, who is a transfer student and what you need to know, resources for transfer students at the California Community College, some financial support offered to students, UCSB transfer prep programs, and how to apply to our UCSB transfer prep programs. So starting off with the UCs and transfer prep across the different UC campuses. Transfer prep initiative at the University of California as a system. Each campus offers programs and supports that really focus on the California Community College students and their transfer journey. So the goal behind these different initiatives is to support students, to inform them of transfer requirements, transfer admission, and really prepare them for transfer to any UC campus. So as transfer prep efforts, our goal is not necessarily to recruit or just promote our own specific campus. It's really about encouraging students to consider and to prepare for the University of California. Our goal and our mission, aligned with our partners at the California Community College, is to increase transfer rates for students from the California Community College to four-year institutions, particularly to the University of California. So through these initiatives, we're talking to students broadly about the University of California, different pathways, different options, and just making sure that they're on track. So each UC campus does offer a transfer prep program. They're listed on the screen for your reference. And I'll be going more in depth about specifically UC Santa Barbara and our transfer prep programs and initiatives. So in terms of the California Community College system, our system here is the largest in the nation. So it's composed of 116 campuses. And in those campuses, there's about 1.9 million students that are enrolled and that are serviced by the California Community College system. The community college is open entry, right? So students are able to matriculate and enroll at any term that they choose. Students are also able to do multiple things while they're at the community college. So transfer is one of the routes and one of the options and one of the missions of the California Community College. But in addition to that, they also offer other programs like vocational instruction. They also offer non-credit programs like ESL, citizenship courses. They're open for continuing and adult learners, just that they want to develop their skills or perhaps change into a different career. And so they play a vital function and role in terms of providing education opportunities and academic opportunities for the region that they serve. In addition to that, they help encourage and create a next generation of workers and leaders and folks that really help maintain the California economy, right? Another thing that the California Community College allows us to do is to conduct research to assess the needs of the students. And there's been a lot of efforts throughout the last few years to really address some of the concerns that folks have regarding the community colleges. Another thing to note is that the UC, we do prioritize California Community College in the transfer admission process. About 2 out of 3 transfer students that apply to the University of California are admitted, and about 92% of UC transfer students come from a California community college. Upon graduation from the UCs, nearly 1 out of 3 students started at the California Community College, right? And our graduation rates for transfer students are right on par with freshman counterparts. And in some cases, they might be slightly higher. And when we also look at their academic achievement, when we look at their GPAs, They're also up to par with freshman counterparts, and in some instances as well, slightly higher. So some of the reasons that students consider attending and entering the California Community College, as we all know, the freshman admissions process is very challenging, with hundreds of thousands of students applying and competing for those very selective spots at our different institutions, right? And so if a student didn't get admitted to the UC or the campus that they really wanted to, or maybe they weren't offered their particular major, right? There are still other ways to make it to that institution, one of them being the transfer route, right? So student can attend the community college and then fulfill the transfer eligibility requirements, which we'll go into in a little bit, and then transfer to their dream campus. Another reason that students may consider entering the community college is due to academic preparation. So either students feel that they weren't academically ready for the UC right out of high school, or were not academically prepared to enter the UC right out of high school, or again, maybe their majors or their different education pathways in the high school didn't really get them to where they wanted to go or get them admitted to the place they wanted to attend. And so they're able to go to the community college. For students that really excelled and did well in high school, that is great because they're able to enter community college and right away start at college level courses, are able to really excel in those courses. They're able to take advantage of perhaps like honors programs at the California Community College. And so, students need to know, because I feel like there's sometimes that notion that, oh, I work so hard, right? All of that is still going to benefit you, right? You're still able to come in, excel, do great at the community college, challenge yourself academically and maybe do an honors program, participate in research, really elevate that part. And for students that perhaps didn't do as well in high school, it's a great opportunity for them to attend the community college because guess what? It's a clean slate. They're able to start the community college. They have a brand new GPA. If they excel and do well that first semester and get straight A's, now they're a 4.0 college student, right? And so they're really able to pursue their education and get a fresh start, or they're able to maximize and build upon the academic successes in high school. Either way, it's a great option for students. Another thing that the community college offers students is the ability for academic exploration, right? So maybe sometimes students aren't necessarily sure what they want to pursue, what major they want to do, what career. And so attending the community college and focusing on those general ed courses their first couple of years as they identify a major really allows for that exploration to happen as they're still working towards that general ed requirement. And they're also doing it at a cost savings, right? And so it's a great option for students to pursue the community college. And in terms of financial incentives or reasons as to why students or their families may consider the community college is that it's cost savings. So it is $46 a unit for students, but many students qualify for tuition waivers and other programs such as like the Promise programs that you've probably heard a lot about, right? So there is a lot of financial support for students attending the community college. And so again, it eases those financial concerns that students and families have while they're still working towards their bachelor's degree and just completing that work at the community college. Sometimes students also have familial obligations, responsibilities, expectations at home, and so they may not be quite ready to go and move away quite yet. And so attending the community college keeps them close to home. It keeps them with their family a little longer and until they're ready to, attend the university at 2-3 years after graduating high school. And at that point, they might feel a little bit more prepared for that. And again, the California Community College is one of the segments of higher education, right? So everything that they do there can count towards obtaining that degree. All right, quiz time. True or false? Attending a California community college first is not as good as attending a four-year college or four-year institution. And it is false, right? So community college is college. As I mentioned, it is one of the segments of higher education. Students that attend community college succeed. We know that students are graduating on par as their freshman counterparts that started at the UC. Their GPAs are strong. They're doing that work. And when they come to our campus, they are ready and they're succeeding and they're excelling. And community college is a great option, a great platform for students to attend and then go to any institution, right? And so they're able to have some options. And I'm also going to share some information regarding some of the programs and just the overall benefits that students can really engage and participate in as they are attending the community college. All right, so what you need to know about transfer. So first, let's define who is a transfer applicant, right? We know a lot of students, particularly nowadays, we see high school students taking community college courses, doing all those great things to really challenge themselves academically, but who is a transfer applicant? So for the University of California, a transfer applicant is a student who has enrolled at a regular session at a college or university following high school graduation, right? A student who attends a community college during the summer term immediately after high school graduation, or who has completed college work while still in high school is still considered a freshman applicant. So the key thing is here, once they graduate high school, if they officially enroll at a California community college or any other institution of higher education during a regular term, which is like a fall, winter, or spring. In terms of transfer admissions, for UCSB, we only admit at junior level. So, and I'll go into what that means for us specifically, but we only admit at junior level, so we don't accept any sophomore applicants or any senior standing applicants, only junior level. And all requirement for admissions must be completed by the end of the spring term prior to transfer. So anything that's a requirement must be completed by the end of that spring term. Students apply a year before they're attending the institution, similar to freshmen. They'll be applying in the fall term for the following fall admissions. And our decision is based on all the information the student provides on their application, all their courses, all their grades, everything that they've done. And for transfer students, we also ask for an academic update in January. And so they'll update us with those fall grades. And that's really what we utilize for admission purposes. And as transfer students, students must select a major within one of our three colleges. So freshman students have the option and ability to apply and attend our institution as undecided. For transfer students, again, they're coming in at junior level. At this point, they must identify a major. And if their major is selective or has certain major prep requirements, again, those must be fulfilled by the end of that spring. In terms of some numbers, so this cycle for fall 2024 admissions, the UC system received 43,543 applicants, which is up from last year. So we have seen an increase in the number of applicants from the California Community College, from the transfers to the UCs. And then for UCSB specifically, our numbers also increased. So this year we received 18,410, up from 17,051 last year for fall 2023. Our admission rate for transfer students usually ranges around 50 to 60%. Last year it was 60%. This year we're still going through the process, so we don't have any data or numbers for this year's applicants yet. But transfer students do make up about 1/3 of our incoming class. Right, in terms of transfer eligibility and what students must complete, students must complete the 7-course pattern. So for your students that are community college bound, making sure that they enroll in English and math courses early on in their trajectory, just to complete those and get those out of the way, as well as them serving as, just bases for some of the other coursework that they'll be completing at the community college. So they need 2 courses in English composition, 1 course in transferable level math, and then 4 courses from at least 2 of the following areas. So arts and humanities, behavioral and social sciences, and biological and physical sciences. The minimum GPA to be considered for transfer students at the UC is a 2.4. However, we encourage students to really go beyond that. For UCSB specifically, we recommend students at least a 3.4. There are some majors that are more selective, more competitive, in which students must have higher GPAs for that. But again, we admit students across the board. The minimum for the system is a 2.4. In terms of units, and this is also what sets that junior level standing, is students must have at least 60 UC transferable units. And so there's a website, and I'll go over like assist.org, right, in which students are able to identify, is the course I'm taking at the community college UC transferable? Is this going towards that minimum 60 unit that the student needs? And in terms of major, the major preparation really varies. So for UCSB specifically, we have a number of selective majors in which we are screening for that major prep to be completed. Anything that has a requirement attached to that must be completed in order to be admitted to that major. And then there are other majors that are not selective for our campus, in which we're just screening for transfer eligibility, which is like the 7-course pattern, GPA, and the 60 units. In terms of resources for students, there's a couple of resources. One of my favorite things about the transfer journey is TAG. So the UCs have a transfer admission guarantee, and this is offered at 6 of our campuses, UCSB being one of the campuses that offers TAG. TAG is not a requirement for admission, but it is a program that really benefits students and will give them a guaranteed admission to our campus if they meet the eligibility criteria. So there are general TAG requirements for the UCs, and then each specific campus may also have additional coursework, GPA, or major prep requirements that are specific to that particular campus. In terms of TAG at UCSB, TAG is only open to California Community College students. It's available for most majors in the College of Letters and Science, the exception being any major that requires an audition, because we cannot guarantee that the student will pass that dance audition or any other audition, right? Students must also have a 3.4 GPA by the end of the fall term. So TAG is submitted in September of the fall in which the student is applying for transfer, September 1st through the 30th. By the end of that fall, they must have a 3.4. By the time they submit the TAG application in September, they must have at least 30 UC transferable units completed. And overall, they must meet major prep requirement for any selective majors, and overall the UC transfer eligibility requirements as well by the end of that spring. And for students or anyone interested in TAG, we also offer TAG-specific webinars and TAG-specific sessions as well. Another great tool, and this is something that all students, as soon as they've identified that they are going to be attending a California community college or will be taking the transfer route, is for them to create a UC transfer admission planner. So that this is something that's UC system-wide. The student creates an account and they start entering courses, grades, AP exams, anything that gives them college credit, college units is listed on here. This is connected and fed through assist.org. So anything that's UC transferable is pre-populated within that subject area. However, students must enter everything, and this is really great practice because it kind of mirrors the UC application. So students are able to kind of get that experience of filling out these different types of forms, entering their data and information, transferable, non-transferable, everything goes on here. And what it does, it helps keep track of their transfer readiness. So they are able to see a total of how many UC transferable units they've completed, how many are in progress, what their total will be at the end of this current term, for example. They're also able to see exactly what their UC transferable GPA is. This is a great tool because the UCs also, we utilize this to communicate with students. Let's say we're going to plan a visit to a community college. We might reach out and say like, hey, we're going to actually be on your campus. Please, come visit us at the transfer center, or come schedule one-on-one. And we also utilize this to inform students about opportunities, events, different things that the student can benefit from. The other great benefit about the planner is that this is where students submit their tag application. So I know we just talked about tag. Tag is submitted through the planner. And once the student is ready to submit their UC application, they're able to import all the coursework they've already entered on the planner to the UC app. So all of these are really meant to be integrated into each other. And it's just anyone that's at the CC that is looking to transfer really should have a transfer planner. Really great benefit. Some of the services that we offer here at UCSB through our transfer prep initiatives is the individual advising. So really meeting one-on-one with students, having those conversations about what are their goals, where are they at. If they have a planner, we're able to look at their coursework, we're able to look at their grades, right, and really make more accurate advising. Our team also visits the community college. We participate in different events, college fairs, presentations, UC panels, things like that. We put together different workshops and presentations, both virtually and in person. And we are also hosting a number of programs. So at the community college, there's support programs like first year experience programs, programs that focus on particular populations and particular needs, like AOPS, CARE, Puente, MESA, right? A number of programs. And so we're also hosting them on our campus, sharing information about the transfer journey, transfer process, connecting them with current students, and just really making sure that they feel knowledgeable and that they have the information about the UC system in order for them to make an informed decision about their next steps. An additional resource that I want to share is also transfer pathways. So there are eligibility requirements that are across the system, and then there's things that each particular campus might ask of students for their particular majors. And UC transfer pathways is an attempt to kind of streamline some of that, particularly for those top majors. So biology, history, right? Some of those core big majors, transfer pathways kind of outlines the courses that students should be completing in order to be eligible and to prepare for transfer to any UC, right? So it does kind of streamline some of that work. And all these tools are best utilized in collaboration with staff, like admissions staff from each campus, and then also their counselors at their community college. So in terms of affordability, there are different initiatives. And in terms of promise options, it varies greatly between community colleges. So I really encourage students to connect with their campus that they wish to attend, and see exactly what is needed to qualify and benefit from promise options. Some of them might have slightly different criteria. Applications or how students benefit from the programs might differ as well. So really for students to connect and learn what that process looks like at their respective community colleges. But what these initiatives are meant to do is to waive enrollment fees for students. So previously, this was like the BOG, the Board of Governors fee waiver. Promise has expanded who qualifies for fee waivers. And so students are able to get their first year, or perhaps their first 2 years, tuition completely paid for, right? So students are able to really benefit from that. But again, it varies greatly between the different community colleges. And just a reminder, because California community colleges are colleges, still encourage students to submit their financial aid applications. So either their FAFSA or their California Dream Act. And this year's priority deadline is April 2nd. So students are able to fill it out as soon as they're able to, but make sure that they do that by April 2nd as well, so that they don't miss out on any funding opportunities from the California Community College. All right, so in terms of UCSB transfer programs and opportunities for students through our office. So we have 2 programs that we host through our transfer services and transfer prep unit. One of them is Transfer Making It Happen, and we also have Transfer Prep Academy. And I'm going to go into each program and who it's targeting. So our Transfer Making It Happen program is really meant for high school students that are graduating this year that will be entering the California Community College system this summer, or will be enrolling in the upcoming fall and for the next academic year. This year's program will be held virtually, and we'll be having 2 sessions for students. They can do one or the other. And through these sessions, we're going to be talking about what is the University of California, what is transfer, what are the requirements and eligibility, like what are the things that they should be focusing on, particularly within their first year at the community college, making sure that they have accurate information, that they are connected with our office, and that they're connected with staff at their respective campuses, that they have identified support programs that they can benefit from. And through our programs, both TMIH and Transfer Prep Academy, once they participate in our programs, and they're part of our cohort. So we do follow up with them, and I'll go more in depth as to like steps after participating in our programs. But for TMIH, our target students are those that are graduating high school and will be entering the community college. So students must create a UC Tab account. Even if they haven't completed any coursework, we want them to at least create it. So at least have an account, and then once they have their courses, and many at this point might be already enrolling at community colleges, or maybe they're in that process of figuring out what they're going to be taking at the CC. Once they've identified those courses, they can go ahead and enter those as courses that will be in progress for the next academic year. Our priority consideration is students that are first gen, income eligible, come from underrepresented communities, but it really is open to any student that wants the support and can use the guidance and advice of entering the CC and how to navigate it for transfer, right? So we're gonna again be covering bigger topics in terms of identifying majors, what is the UC, what is the CC, services, supports, all those great things. Our next program is Transfer Prep Academy. So for Transfer Prep Academy, there are 2 versions of how we deliver this program. There is an in-person component, which is a 3-day, 2-night residential program here on our campus, where students are able to stay in the dorms. They're able to experience university life on our campus. They're going to be connecting with current UCSB students, staff, faculty, program advisors, resources, So really having them be immersed into our campus. And we're going to have 2 tracks for this program this year. So one of them will be students that are transfer ready and will be applying for transfer this upcoming fall. So those are our fall 2025 applicants. And for those students, we're going to be talking about the UC application. We're going to be talking about personal insight questions. We're going to talk about tag, right? And make, if they're eligible, really encouraging them to submit a guaranteed admission to a campus. We're going to start the conversations about research. What is research? What is grad school? Like, how do I prepare for the UC even before I arrive to the UC? And then for students that are not transfer ready yet, there's going to be some overlap in those workshops and sessions we'll be having, but we're also going to be offering sessions that are more, if I'm 2 years away from transfer, have I identified a major? Am I working on completing those major prep courses that might be required for my major if it's one of the selective majors? How do I maximize my time at the California Community College? How do I maximize and really develop my academic skills at the community college, right? So there's going to be some overlap, but there also is going to be some distinction in the types of conversations that we're having with those students. So in order to be eligible for transfer prep, they must be currently at a California community college and will be enrolled at the California Community College for at least the next academic year. The student also must create and update a UC TAP account. So all their courses, all their grades must be entered on there. This is also how we're going to determine if the student is transfer ready or not transfer ready yet, right? And again, we saw this last year with the program. A lot of students applied to this thinking that they were transfer ready, but once we actually looked at it, they weren't quite going to meet all the requirements by the timeline that they needed to meet them by. So we just want all of them to apply, and then we'll figure out exactly which track benefits the student the most. Again, priority given to first gen, income eligible students, underrepresented students, local students, but this is open wide for any student that can benefit from the program to apply. The residential component will be happening July 17th through the 19th, and the virtual component of the program will be the 25th through the 26th. So students can identify and tell us which program they would prefer to do, the in-person, or we know that there's limitations, folks have other responsibilities, or perhaps they're out of the area and can't commit to being in person, then they can do the virtual option. So in terms of applying to our programs, the program application will be listed on our website under our transfer prep page. It's one application and students are able to identify the program they're interested in. And then we're asking all students to also create a UC transfer admission planner. And if they have college courses, for them to enter all the courses, all the grades, anything that's planned, as much information as possible on their UC TAP account. So the application will be open in a couple of days, maybe the next week or so. I will make sure that everyone gets that information as soon as it's launched. And then it will remain open for, I want to give students at least a month to apply. So depending on when we launch it, the goal is early April. So then it will be due at the beginning of May, early May. So please encourage your students to apply and participate in the program. The program is free to students. So the ones staying on campus, everything is paid for. So they don't have to worry about that. The only thing they'll have to do is if they're coming either from within the area or slightly outside of the area, they just need to make their way to our campus for the residential program in July. And so once students participate in our programs, they'll be part of our cohort. They'll be, again, encouraged. There's going to be follow-up from our advising or counselor, admissions counselors to meet with them one-on-one to, again, make sure that they're on track, to make sure that they're doing well. They're also able to build community with fellow students, staff, faculty, establish those networks, gather the information What we've seen is students that have those relationships and have that information even pre-transfer, right? Those are the ones that once they arrive to our campus, they hit the floor running. They're coming in, they know exactly what needs to be done. They're building relationships with faculty in order to then get those internships in the lab or to get those letters of rec that they'll need for other programs. They're studying abroad. They're really maximizing their time at the UC. And that's really what we love to see and the goal of our programs. And then they're also going to be invited to transfer prep events, initiatives, different things that we have going on our campus. So that's all the information I have for you all today. As a reminder, you can follow us on our Instagram channels. For any of you working with current applicants, freshman admissions got released Tuesday. Transfer admissions will be released mid-April. So I know for transfers, they're still very patiently, as patiently as they can, waiting for those. But we thank you all for being here today. Again, additional resources. If at any point you have any questions, please send us an email, admissions@ucsb.edu. Our webpage will be updated with links and all the necessary information for our programs. Admissions.ucsb.edu/transfer. And we also have a transfer specific resource playlist on our YouTube channel. So please make sure to check that out. And if anyone has any questions, we can go ahead and take those now. Okay. No questions. Well, thank you all for joining us today. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll be in touch.